Like they hear you.
Which is what took me for a surprise because I look up and I'm like, oh shit, that's me. I'm still typing in the chat.
You're all good. I muted myself instead of you by accident.
No worries.
Welcome to the show, ElDirtySquirrel, our very first critter, I believe. Our squirrel's critter?
Rodent, please. Rodent.
Rodent,
please.
excuse me. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm so excited to have him on today to talk about character streaming, which is a request we've had from viewers for a long time now. Finally found a great person to come on and talk about it, so I'm excited to have him in. Thank you for coming on the show
Dr.
today.
Disrespect was booked, so I was second best. I understand.
No. You definitely came first above there. Well, yeah, so for anyone who hasn't seen the show before, the way this works is Squirrel and I are going to talk for about 35, 40 minutes about just character streaming as a whole, his experience with it, and just about his stream. And then the last third of the show will be viewer questions. So if you have a question for Squirrel about character streaming, streaming in general, whatever, you can ask it then, and we will address it. And we have both text questions from Twitch as well as Discord. So we'll get to that in a bit. But first of all, I just want to kind of get to know you, Squirrel, a little bit because not everybody here knows you. So can you just do a quick intro of what you're all about on Twitch and all that?
Yeah, sure. I am a half man, half squirrel, ElDirtySquirrel. I am a Merle, leader of the Illuminati and the nuttiest place on Twitch. Yeah, we're a character streamer. Recently just partnered in the last month. Probably it's a little over a month now. And we've been streaming for about 4 years. The time really flies.
Man, that's crazy. So yeah, it's the 7th, right?
What's that?
Was that the day you got partnered?
That's on my calendar. It could be the 7th. I don't know.
I saw a tweet on the 7th, so that was my guess.
Yeah, if the tweet says it, let's go with the 7th. Sure.
Gotcha. But you'd been streaming for about 3 years before that actually happened, correct?
Yeah, so I've been streaming for about 4 years now, and it wasn't always all of this. So
right.
I haven't been a character streamer. Actually, probably a character streamer. Full-on character streamer probably in the last 2 years, but the 2 years before that, the first year I spent just streaming on the couch with my dog. It's a long story. We can dive further, but I want to just give you the details of who I am. So I'm a character streamer. I stream from the treehouse. I am the nuttiest place on Twitch, and half man, half squirrel. You can't go wrong. And a lot of dancing, a lot of weird stuff. It's like Pee-wee's Playhouse meets Twitch. So.
Yeah,
it's good times.
It's a really, really cool stream. If you guys are listening, make sure to go check him out if you haven't seen him yet. Quickly, what kind of games are you into? Is it right now? I know there's a lot of Zelda, but is there?
So we've been bouncing around. We're playing a lot of Zelda this year. I think anything that's a single-player adventure really sticks out to me. Anything's fair game except for I don't like MOBAs and I don't like roguelites or roguelikes. I don't even understand the term. Anything that you die and then that's it, you have to start over. That seems silly.
Gotcha.
So I don't play that. And MOBAs, I just can't wrap my head around. But anything else is fair game. I love all games, which has made it tough growing. You guys who are growing as streamers, it's tough to be variety. Don't take my advice and be a variety streamer. Be a single streamer. And then when you get partnered, switch over. Do whatever you want. But
yeah, we talk about that sometimes on the show too. Variety versus
I'm sure,
single.
Yeah.
So. Awesome. So another quick intro question I ask everyone on the show, and I think it's particularly interesting for you. Are there any weird usernames or handles you went by before ElDirtySquirrel?
No, it's always been, at least on Twitch, it's always been ElDirtySquirrel. And before that, my first AOL Instant Messenger handler was M64 Merlin. So my name is Merle. Half man, half squirrel. I'm a Merle. So that's where the Merle comes from, and that's why I was a Merlin before. But other than that, no, just you know what? Okay. Back in the days of Counter-Strike and Team Fortress Classic, showing my age, up on dial-up, I went as an acronym. I went as the name Fat Cat, PHAT.
There you go.
CAT. And I'm not really embarrassed about it, but I tried starting a clan that was I was like, you can be in the clan, but you gotta have a cat name. And it was all these guys running around Counter-Strike with cat names. It was pissing people off. But
so
that's a dark time. Yeah.
Yeah. So you take an adjective and an animal, and there's your name, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. Okay. So last kind of intro question here. So you've been streaming on Twitch for about 3 years now. Do you have a single or maybe a couple favorite memories on Twitch in that time?
I don't.
No?
No, something that's sticking out there. I'm getting partnered was amazing, but I was out of the office. I was out of the treehouse. And so that email came and that was just huge. I think everybody's had those days of streaming where people just show up and cherish you with hosts and hellos. Front page actually. I
Oh,
spent 8 weeks on the front page.
8 weeks. Wow. What happened
Yeah.
there?
Well, it was 1 day a week,
Okay.
2 hours a week. Was it 2 hours or 3 hours? It might have been 3 hours. But it was just a small segment, and that was like, it was really cool. I guess that really stands out to me as one of my favorite moments because I got to talk to the Twitch staff. They're like, really like your content. We would love to see you on the front page. And I was like, oh. And so people were like, well, are you excited to be on the front page? I'm like, no, I'm freaking nervous. I'm freaking out, man. So I was like, I was pooping like 3 or 4 times before I go live just because I was so nervous.
Gotta make sure.
And it was like, people were like, are you excited to be on the front page? I'm like, no, I wish it would end. I'm tired. Every Tuesday comes around, and I'm like, I'm shaken by Monday night at midnight. So...
Wow.
No, but that was a really fun experience, being on the front page, and having upwards to like 5,000 viewers, which on front page maybe equates to like 300 actually active eyes,
Right.
but like it was still pretty intense.
Wow. So Twitch just kind of wanted to feature you. There's no event or anything?
So I reached out. Well, this is a longer story too, but I got invited to a Discord that was like a kind of a meeting of the minds. Like there was a lot of kind of bigger streamers now that were there. They invited. It was when the Twitch launched its app, right, to compete with Discord, and people were like, I was like, I haven't been on it in a minute. But so I jumped in there, and I saw that they were doing like a front page promotion for the Worms game. I think that's where it started.
Okay.
And some of my friends who weren't partnered were getting to do like a 1 hour spot playing Worms together. And I was like, that's really cool. So I reached out to the person who ran the Discord, or not the Discord, but the Twitch app community channel. And I was like, hey, I would really be interested in the front page. Here's some of the stuff that I want to do. And this was like, I guess it was a year and a half ago. I was like, this is the stuff that like I want to do on the channel. I want to turn it into a cartoon. I want to have this car, the credits, like the unicorn. That was like, I mean, that wasn't even done by the time I got front page. Anyways, but so I was like, here's all the stuff I want to do. And she's like, oh, that's really cool. Like, let me know when you get that stuff done. Like, blah, blah, blah. So it took me like a year, and I finally felt confident to write back to her. And I copied all these clips. I must have had 6 or 7 clips. I was like, these are some unique things I don't think people are doing on Twitch. And she's like, oh my God. They're like, we'd love to have you on Twitch, like on the front page. And I was like, okay. And it was like 3 weeks later, we're on the front page. And like, that kind of jump started our partnership adventure. Like, it was still a tough, long journey. We weren't sure we were going to get it, but yeah.
Wow. That's awesome to hear about, just like the journey of how that all happened.
Yeah.
I think
also
everybody
has these kind of wicked stories where like, well, it was this. And I mean, wait till we get further, I'll tell you. But
yeah, that's why I like to ask that question, because there's always some cool story that comes out of that. But
yeah.
So speaking of which, let's get into kind of the main discussion here, which is character streaming. Really excited for this one. So just to kind of start off, how did your character on Twitch come to be? Because you said you didn't always start that way. It kind of developed over time.
Right. So I'm gonna take you guys back. I actually have I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. Wow. I moved from Maryland to Massachusetts to Boston to just kind of get out of Baltimore, do something new with my wife. I didn't want to work in the bar anymore. I was like, I'm gonna get an office job, 9 to 5. I'm gonna love it. I hated it. I hated every second. So if you got a 9 to 5 and you hate it, do something you love. That's if you can get anything from this, do something you love every day, because life is short. You could end up with a brain tumor, and they told me, they're like, you're gonna lose half your body to paralysis, more than likely, where the tumor is. Like, it's a really odd case. I was playing the Titanfall beta. I was all excited because my wife left with the dog. I was like, I got the house to myself. It's a Saturday. I was like, I got a headache. I was like, oh crap. I was like, my head really hurts. So I turned the game off and laid down. I was like, this isn't normal. It was one of those like freak out moments where like, this is not normal. So they rushed me to the hospital. 14 days later, like we took the brain tumor out. I spent, months in radioactivity. And so that's when I started streaming. That's where the journey began. I just bought an Xbox, and I was like, I told my wife, I was like, please don't make me return the Xbox. Like, I know I just got it. I think I just got a new PC too. Like, I was actually making good money in the office, but so to combat the depression and just sitting around, I was like, man, I'm gonna start streaming. I had always looked up to people that got me started were like Dan's Gaming and Future Man and Code Carnage, and I was like, man, that seems really fun just to stream. So I literally was on the couch, and I didn't have much mobility being on recovery, but like I just sat with my dog, and every time I got a follow, I give my dog a treat. And the problem was like it was going through my phone, so I've like Pavloved my dog. Like, so anytime he heard the chime, he would pop up and be like, oh, it's treat time. So that's where we got started, and I did that every day and met some awesome people, and just like we were like 5 to 10 viewers per show. If I would start the show up, man, if you start the show up and you don't have anybody, it's brutal to get through that barrier, but once you do, it's great. But then, so as a huge fan of Spaceballs, you guys probably seen Spaceballs and know Barf. He was half dog, half man. He's a Mog. And so I was like, That's pretty interesting. And I was like, I never thought about it. Like, the Dirty Squirrel actually started from the bar scene, and like, if you know Ray Lewis's dance is called the Dirty Squirrel, and then everybody at the bar called me Dirty Squirrel, and then you know the Latinos in the back were like El Ardilla Sucio, and then it became El Dirty Squirrel. So that's when I started the name, and then I just kept it with Twitch and was like, we're gonna roll with it. I'll keep it, and I was like, I'm gonna put on a suit and put on ears and a tail and just see where it goes. And that's we've been doing it since, and it's just kind of like building on it, building on it. Like, I didn't have any idea of the treehouse and stuff. I just put on the suit, and I was like, you know, it'd be cool, a treehouse. I was like, you know, it'd be cool, a farting unicorn. You know, like, so it just keeps building on.
That's hilarious.
May the Schwartz be with you. Yes, exactly.
Wow. See, it's really cool to hear how. Actually, maybe you can kind of or talk about this a little bit. But how has the character changed? You know, since you started on Twitch, what kind of changes have you made to it over time?
The more and more I go on, the more I want to make it an actual full character. So like, I'm sitting here talking to you about it, and I feel kind of weird because like we're out of character, right? So if you watch Dr. Disrespect, who I don't like his content, but I totally respect his gig and everything he's got going. That like, he's in character the whole time, and that's a little tough for me because this character is actually kind of believable, but my character is like from outer space, right? So. So it's tough to like bring that in every day. Well, it's tough also to stream 8 to 10 hours every day or however many hours a week and not be kind of yourself, right?
Yeah.
So you can watch as much as you want of Dr. Disrespect. Part of that's probably him. He's a little, you know, but so that's the tough part, is like being more of a character and like bringing that to the show. Like, how do you do that? And like, so for the most part, it's a grown man wearing ears and a tail playing video games with people, and like, I'm just being myself. But I would like to be more character oriented and kind of portray that and immerse people, and we're working on a Squirrel 2.0, which we hopefully will do that. But
awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to hear about that. I think your examples are really good. Like Dr. Disrespect, you know, he's just sort of right now just the biggest character streamer, so everyone kind of thinks of him with that. You definitely do see bits of him bleeding through, because I mean, you're streaming for 10 hours a day.
When I think of actors, I mean, character actors are one thing, you know, to do it, and that's just insane. Like to act in a certain way, like especially if you did like an accent or anything, you know, like and eventually, like you said, you bleed through, like your parts of you are gonna come out.
So I guess like let's talk about that a little bit with endurance and consistency. Like when you have very long streams, when you've been doing this for 2 years now, do you ever struggle with trying to keep up that character and trying to balance between, you know, maybe you want to just stream by yourself and not put on other things some days? Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, there's days that like I call it Casual Friday or something. There was in the past a lot of days where like, and I haven't recently, but like I'd take the suit off and I just wear a hoodie and I'm like, it's Casual Fridays. I can wear what I want. But it stinks because you don't want somebody to come into your channel on those days and see you like that and be like, oh, this guy's, who knows what they might think. They might love me or hate me, but that's a missed opportunity to show them the character stream and show them what's going on.
Right.
So that's a tough part. So if you're playing a character, you have to be a character all the time. Otherwise, there's a missed opportunity for that one person to come by in that very short time span and not get what's going on, or miss the amazingness, I guess.
So I guess for other people kind of in that same situation who maybe they want to be character streamers, but they're worried about that, of, you know, getting to the point where they're either tired of it or they want to take a day off or something, like what kind of advice would you give to that person, having been through that yourself?
Just do it. Your mental health is above all else, but just remember that, you know, it depends what you want out of Twitch too. So if you're trying to make people laugh and that's your gig, you're not going to have a problem being a character. And that's my thing. I love making people laugh, and I swear, like if I start a stream up and I'm not in the suit, like it feels good, but then I'm like, man, I wish I was wearing the suit, right? I wish I had everything going right now, so people, you know, you just have to fight through it and just have fun with it. Always have fun with it. If you're not having fun with it, change something up.
Right. Yeah, it shouldn't feel like a chore, basically.
Yeah, and my friend here, Mr. Kasler, says go no cam, and that's definitely a possibility because I have a cartoon transformation, so I could go no cam, and that's definitely something I've been thinking about. But again, it's the integrity of the show, the transformation, like, and the statue and everything that I have going. So I like to make sure that we're always doing that, so that if somebody comes by, they're getting the show and they're not just getting. There's too many people that are just sitting, turning Twitch on and just playing games already. So like, I want to do something different, you know?
Sure. I mean, I think you definitely have something different and unique, and that helps a lot on Twitch, of course.
Yeah, and there's a lot of it popping up.
Yeah, I'm excited to see more of it too, because I saw you were talking to, I don't even know who the other streamer was, but like another toaster streamer, and I think like that cross character streaming stuff sounds really cool, and like there's a lot of potential there. Have you ever experimented with that?
That's a joke. Well, so that's a good question, because I'm actually part of a team called Team Adventure Mode, and we're all character streamers. And the toaster, the guy who mentioned that, I call him a toaster. That's the meme in his channel, is like he's a talking toaster. He's actually the guy who's kind of revolutionized and started this character animator. He uses the software, the same software I do, and he started, and I worked with him to actually get mine started. So I'm not the original person there. To use this software, and I don't claim to be, and that's kind of why, like, he does it the full time, and he's got some awesome animations where the arms move, and like he's got so much stuff going on. You're like, yeah, you have to check it out. Same with my man Mr. Kasler, who's in chat right now. He does the same stuff for just and I'm pretty sure his big influence is Scribble as well, but like he does a lot of animating, and he's fully animated all the time. So I think that's a cool thing to do. I think people still respect the face cam though, right?
Right, yeah.
I think people still want to see people's faces and reaction. Like, there's only so much reaction. I mean, you go to Scribbler's channel, he does have a lot of reactions, but I think people still want to see like a face, and that's kind of why I like to do both.
Yeah, I totally get that. Having some variety too, so you can go back and forth is nice.
Yeah.
So with those other character streamers, do you guys ever do like collaborations or like a battle of some sort? Or I just feel like there's a lot of potential there, like a storybook type thing.
Yeah, there is. We are kind of on hiatus, and we started as a team, and like the big thing was, and we're meeting every week, and we're like, we want to do this variety Saturday morning cartoon show, because most of us were just funny people who like, and that made sense for us. Like, and we're kind of working on a show where it's like, we play a game real fast for 10-15 minutes, and then boom, it cuts to a scene, or I don't know what to call it, like a gimmick, or like a, Squirrel does the news, and then it cuts to us playing a few games, and then it cuts to another character,
like a segment, basically.
Segment. Yeah, so different segments, and I think like the hard hitting, fast hitting segments and gameplay would be totally new and different, and it's just getting it all together. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I don't think people are a part of teams, but people don't realize there's a lot of work that goes into it, especially if you want to do something of that magnitude.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot. I'm sure even like the animations and stuff, that must have taken a ton of work to set that up too. So
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think it's a really cool idea to work with other character streamers who are doing similar things to what you're doing, because they'll kind of understand you and can probably help you with a similar audience. Maybe that's pretty smart.
I was gonna say, you just nailed it. Like the audience, because some people are really into watching other character streamers, or want to tune their Twitch into a character stream. So sticking with other character streamers is super beneficial, because you can share those audiences, and you can see everybody's posting emotes from pretty much all the different characters. So
that's so
Melly Bear is another. She's a character streamer, and she does the animating software, and she's wicked awesome. But like we all stick together, it seems like,
Yeah, I think that's really cool. It's a really good way to grow together, I think, in that space.
For sure.
Awesome. So I want to talk about authenticity a little bit, because this is a word that gets thrown out a lot with Twitch, and you kind of touched on it earlier, but I would say that some people have some concerns with character streaming, in the sense that like you're kind of not being real, or you're putting on this act. But I kind of want to get your thoughts on that, having been in that space. Do you feel like you're ever not authentic, or can you still be authentic as a character, basically, is what I'm asking here?
Yeah, I think so. I think ultimately you're putting on a show, so who cares how authentic it is at all, right? I mean, what do you mean authentic too? I play a squirrel who lives in a treehouse and plays games, from outer space. So I'm authentic to that. I don't know, like, how authentic. I don't know. People think people are being fake. I've had people come in and be like, "Oh, look, it's a fake wannabe Dr. Disrespect." I'm like, okay, all right, well then go watch Dr. Disrespect. I don't know, but and I hate to keep bringing him up, but I don't think there's any authenticity issues. I get to be myself every day, so
yeah.
If I wasn't myself, I don't know. I guess I'd be a character, but I am a character. So no, I don't think there's any authenticity problems there.
Sure. I just want to bring it up because it's like a buzzword kind of in the space. So I definitely wanted to make sure. Yeah, we hear it a lot with streaming, and just like, streaming for 8 hours a day, like you have to be yourself, right? Like, can you be yourself if you're being a character? Like, that's sort of the question I'm looking at here.
Yeah, and you know what? I think what you're alluding to is like, maybe somebody gets a big cheer and they're like, "Oh my god, a big cheer!" Like, I can see that. Like, people are being fake about that, and yeah, there is. I'm not gonna lie, there is a little bit part of me, but I'm a very non-excitable person anyway. Like I got my partnership and was like, damn, I got partnered. I was like, really? I said, yeah. And so I put my phone away. I was like, we went back to eating, and it was just like I'm not very excitable, but so when I'm streaming, I like to I do amp it up a little bit, but at the same time, I feed off of the excitement of the my friends and viewers. So
right, leave it all on the stream.
It's not completely fake, but if I was just like, oh, thanks for subbing, well. You know, like people want to get excited. People want their name shouted out, I think.
Yeah, I think everyone kind of has to have some level of not fakeness, but you know, putting on a show, like you said. Like you're an entertainer at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So, makes sense. Okay, so let's talk about people who maybe they are interested in character streaming, but they don't know where to start. Do you want to talk about like maybe, you know, you had your process of creating your character. How could other people kind of brainstorm their own characters, or should it come more naturally and not be so forced?
I think you can force it as long as you're loving it. I would say if you're gonna be a character streamer, don't maybe do it the way I did. I hear a lot of people are like, oh, I'm gonna start streaming in a couple months. I'm like, why are you waiting? They're like, well, I'm gonna get everything set up. Just start streaming. Just start going. But if you're gonna be a character or you're gonna want to do something like that, keep a book or notes. Like keep it by your bed. So if you have one in the middle of the night, get a shower book so you can write in the shower. I really want one, but I don't have one. I feel like my best ideas come in the shower. I don't know why.
Always shower thoughts.
Yeah. But so just keep a book, plan it out. Talk with people. Hit me up. I tell people who are getting into character streamer or just anything they want to do for their stream. I was like, just hit me up because I enjoy. Like, I'll have an hour meeting with somebody and coming up with ideas for them or hearing their ideas makes me think of ideas for my channel. You know, not copying ideas, but like I like to bounce these ideas. I love having those meetings, especially when people are like, hey, Squirrel, what do you think of this idea? I'm like, oh, that's not a bad idea. What if you did this? What if I did that? You know, it's like, so, yeah, I say if you're interested in being a streamer, a character streamer, or thinking about transitioning your channel, do not be scared to message me on Discord or Twitter or any other of the character streamers. Anybody really, for that matter. If they don't say anything back or they just ignore you, then that's, you know, no love lost. So
right, yeah, I think that's a great idea. Just reaching out to people who've kind of been there a little bit.
Yeah,
giving some feedback.
You know, I've done it. Especially if you don't know where to start. If you have some kind of idea.
Right, and like you said, like even you started streaming from the couch, so you didn't wait till you had the whole thing together to go. So I think that's a good point you brought up too.
Yeah. And I think on that note, I think there's a lot of more character streamers than people think. Like people come up with different creative ways for their currency and the name their cupcake army. We give out sprinkles, you know. So I think there's a little bit of character in everybody, really. So
absolutely is. Okay, so let's talk about brand deals a little bit or sponsorships, that kind of world. I feel like there's some really cool opportunities for character streamers. I mean, you think of Dr. Disrespect and like Gillette. And he put a song out about it, and it matches his branding so well. So, you know, maybe you as like a squirrel, have you ever pursued any similar?
So there was a time where I was eating a lot of Pop-Tarts and was like, so I reached out to Kellogg's and was like, yo, talk to me about some Pop-Tart sponsorship. I was like, I don't even want any money. I just want free Pop-Tarts, like just a lifetime supply of Pop-Tarts. And I will say Pop-Tarts 16 times every stream, but they weren't buying it. So. Coincidentally, I do have a sponsorship coming up for. I can't say anything more than it's a toothbrush. I don't want to say more,
gotcha.
But like that's a really weird sponsorship. But I think we can turn it and make it funny. And I have some ideas for the cartoon brushing his teeth and me brushing my teeth and like so. I think there are some unique. You're right. There's probably some opportunities and. They really haven't become evident until I become partner. And it seems like the more research I do, a lot of people are trying to see 10,000 followers. So if you guys are trying to hit that mark, like 10,000 followers is right there where sponsors are actually starting to take you serious. Even though we know kind of in the biz that like our concurrent and subscriber count is kind of like our moneymaker. But yeah, so I have some interesting things coming up. But I think you're right. Like I try not to like, everybody's got a Razer affiliate code or everybody's Humble Bundle partnered, and it's fine. Like I'm Humble Bundled, and I like people to use that. But I'm like, I'd rather get sponsored with Pop-Tarts. So when somebody's like, "Holy cow, Squirrel's partnered with Pop-Tarts," sweet.
That's pretty cool.
I think there's one guy who's partnered with a potty thing where it lifts your knees up, and he was like the first Twitch partner to be partnered with. I was like, that's weird. Like it's like so he shouts out a shitter tool. I guess I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Oh man, that's a great match. I think sounds like it.
Yeah.
As
Yeah, like if I
could
could find a way to poop and stream at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Right. What are we doing? We're doing it all wrong. So you said it's interesting that you said 10,000 followers is sort of like the mark that a lot of corporate brands look at. Mm-hmm. What it sounds like, as opposed to like concurrent viewers or subscribers or something. So that's really interesting for people to know. I think even if you're not a character streamer, keep that in mind because that might help you out.
For sure. 10,000 is like the entry level, like for some smaller stuff, and then like 50,000 is like the next block.
Gotcha.
I've written to some people like, hey, I would love to play your game, and they're like, oh, we really don't mess with anybody without less than 50,000 viewers. I'm like, oh.
Viewers, yeah.
Or 50,000 followers. I was like, oh, okay. All right, then.
So I guess, guys, sometimes there is a good reason to get followers if you want to go after that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, that's like, and like when I was working with Twitch in the front page, they're like, they were very adamant about make sure you push your followers, make sure you want people to follow, make sure you have an alert for followers. Like, why? Followers don't mean crap. I was like, give me the subs, give me the money, give me some nuts.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but they have a point, and the further I got away from that front page time, I was like, man, they really do have something. The more eyes and more followers, the more it can turn into more stuff. But like,
it's true.
Get them followers.
Yeah, just bigger numbers across the board can never hurt you, really.
Yeah, yeah. More eyes, the better.
Awesome. Well, we're kind of wrapping up like the one-on-one discussion here. We'll jump into viewer Q&A really quickly. Just my last question is, and you talked a little bit about this, but do you have like any big future plans with the character moving forward? How to change him, and maybe just advice for other people kind of thinking down how to evolve their character?
Yeah. So for the future, for me, like, I love being creative. I'm a graphic design major, so like I just love, this is the best part of Twitch, is to be creative. In fact, I said if I wasn't streaming myself, what I'd want to do is help other people and like design their stuff or come up with ideas. But I think for me, I'm working on a Squirrel 2.0. I'm keeping it very close to the chest. I've given a lot of I've put a lot of hints out there, and during my streams I've showed some stuff off, but the reality is like everybody uses a digital background for the most part, and I'm trying to build a physical background.
Ooh.
And it's not what you think. People are like, oh, you're building a treehouse, and I'm like, but I want to build a physical thing. I'm from space. Maybe I get back to space, but I can't say anymore.
Gotcha. Yeah, totally understand. But you are thinking of ways to kind of keep moving the character forward constantly, it sounds like.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Awesome. Cool. That's most of my questions. My last thing would just be, if you could give one piece of advice to a brand new Twitch streamer, what would you tell that person about anything?
Ooh. I'm gonna give you a little two things. One, always make sure you're happy. If you're not happy, don't do it. And two is treat every person who comes in like it's their birthday, and you'll have total success, guaranteed.
Awesome.
And don't feed those trolls. I see a lot of negativity, and I'm like, stay positive. But if you bring that negativity in, it just brings a whole lot of other problems. It's gonna hurt you, and it's gonna hurt your brand. Just stay positive.
Yeah.
Don't ignore those trolls. You get a troll, ban them, get out of there. Don't even acknowledge them.
Right. Just keep it all positive. I totally agree with that. Awesome. All right. So we're going to jump into the viewer Q&A, guys. If you have a question for ElDirtySquirrel or myself or whoever about streaming, just tag at GreenChord in the chat so I see it in big, bright red, and we will answer that. We have one from Angry Gringa. I always say her name wrong. But she said, how did your viewership expand once you switched over? Did you do anything different to market yourself? So I guess moving from regular streaming to character streaming, what was that change like for your viewership and how you marketed yourself?
Yeah, and that's a little unique to me because when I started streaming, I was streaming on the Xbox. And actually, I did well on the Xbox because the Xbox was new, and streaming on it was kind of new. And if I played a game right when it came out, I was listed like on the front page. Like, so if you went to buy a game, you saw my face next to the game, like, because I was playing that game. And like I had like upwards of 800, 900 viewers, like starting out just playing on the couch through the Xbox. But that was solely because of that kind of the way it was built, that infrastructure. So, but anyway, so when I went from that and went to a PC streaming and switched everything over, my viewership kind of grew, but not as much as you'd think. And I don't think that's partly because of being a character. I mean, it was a different time on Twitch. Like, they didn't have the hashtags or the communities. And it wasn't because I was a character. I think it was because I wasn't getting the views.
Gotcha.
So when people were stopping by that were new, they were more apt to stay because they were like, this is something kind of unique. This is different. But at the same time, I would say for advice for that is to play a single game, and build your viewer base up, and then or do half days. Do half days with your one game and then switch to a game you want to play too, you know.
Right.
But I don't. It's kind of crazy because when I put the suit on, nothing changed really. It wasn't like viewers sparked up, you know. But I think a lot more people were apt to stay later on down the road, 3-4 months. You know, people were like, oh, all right, this guy's doing something weird and cool.
Right. You're kind of carving out more of a unique identity for yourself that was more than just a guy playing games like everyone else on Twitch.
Yeah. Or girl.
Yeah, fair. Thank you for the question, Angry Gringa. So,
yeah.
Regicel said, you touched on this before with the treehouse, but how do you expand your theme and essentially your brand in a viable way? So yeah, kind of what we talked about before, but basically building upon a theme and just fleshing it out more and more over time.
Yeah, and that comes back to the books where I open up my book and like I take a lot of influence from the 90s. Like I have the Clarissa Explains It All song. Like I'm taking the Spaceballs theme a little serious, and it's just like I make sure I have my book next to me, and anything that pops up, I'm like, hey, I could do something with that. And I write it down, and I'm like, then I twist it and turn it and see what else I can do, because I don't want to steal an idea, but if I can twist it and turn it and make it my own idea, and that goes for everybody. If you see, like, if you like what I do, don't steal it, twist it, make it something else and new, and then, you know, there's lots of stuff to still be done.
Yeah. I like you mentioned the book a couple times now. I like that a lot. I do that too. I think that's something that any streamer can use, just taking notes on yourself. And
if I have to put my lunch on top of it, but this thing's almost full. Like,
wow.
You can see, like, I got nut drawings in there and stuff that, like, everything I've done has pretty much been put in here.
That's really cool. I like that idea a lot, guys. You should definitely try that out if you haven't already. So I'm gonna circle back to Angry Gringa because she had like a second half of the question.
Yeah, let it roll.
But that was basically, what advice do you have for new streamers wanting to do something new as far as expanding viewership? So this is more generic in terms of like, yeah.
To keep trying new things. Again, talk to other character streamers or or any streamers that might be kind of doing the same thing, or just talk to your friends or streamers and run the idea across and be like, hey, do you think this is funny, or do you think this is interesting? If it is, try it. Throw something at the wall, see what sticks. You never know what's gonna work. You never know what's not gonna work. There's a lot of things I've scrapped, artwork that I've paid for and been like, nope, don't want it now. Like, I don't think it's gonna work. So it's a lot of trial and error because Twitch is still relatively new. What is Twitch at total 7 years? I mean, if we're counting Justin TV.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like everything's still new as far as streaming, especially in the last 5 years. So try new stuff. And don't be afraid to hit me up, especially if it's character related, to bounce ideas around. You never know what might work. I did this whole statue thing, and now I'm getting lots of requests like, "Hey, how'd you do that? Can I do that?" And I was like, "Well, I had this idea. I drew it out. Try your own idea. Come up with something, and then find the right person to help you do it. Build it."
Right. Yeah, trial and error is really important just for any streamer. Yeah. Nobody just immediately starts.
And it stinks because everybody wants their success. They want it. I mean, that's our generation. We want our success tomorrow. And it's tough. I'm an older person, so I can ease back. But everybody wants that ninja success. So, like how he exploded. And it's like, unfortunately, if you're just starting streaming, it's very tough to get that point. And
yeah,
you have to stay at it and keep trying new stuff. See what you'll notice if you're an analytical person. Check your stats afterwards and be like, hey, did this work when I turned into a cartoon? I'm like, wow, people are really into it. I watch my VODs, watch my chat, and see, people are into it. And I'm like, let's keep doing it.
Yeah.
So.
And even Ninja didn't, get that success right away. It was lots of trial and error to get there. So.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So we had a question from Jack the Streaming Snack, which is just a great name, in Discord. He said, what do you think about doing character streams as a one-off or a recurring thing? So basically, like a classic streamer. I'm trying to not say normal, but like, your traditional streamer doing maybe like one special stream as a character. So
like I think it's totally worth doing.
Yeah.
I do it on occasion. To come back to this, like Pee-wee's Playhouse, I was like, initially I was like, I'm gonna have all these characters that I play, like that I could do like 7 different characters and maybe stream one day off, as an off character. I thought about that, but the more I kept thinking about it, I was like, well, maybe. But so for charity events, I do a Twiggy Nut where I dress up like an 80s rock star and we air guitar for charity. And we'll probably be doing it again for Q4TC, if you guys know what that is, coming up in August. But I think it's totally viable. I think it's cool to have a character just pop up once in a while, And then people are going to be interested because people are going to see it and be like, oh, that was interesting. When's he coming back? When's this Twiggy Nut going to rock out again?
Yeah.
So I think that's a totally good thing to do. And it's cool because if you're thinking about being a character and you want to test it out, Just be like, oh, this guy's coming to visit. This squirrel guy's coming to visit my treehouse today, and then try it one day, and then see how you like it, see how the response is, go from there.
Yeah, that's a really great point. I think just using it as a way to test a character, that I think is really a cool idea.
And I think if the response is really good, maybe put in a behind a paywall to say, like if we hit 5,000 followers, 10,000 followers, whatever the number is, then Twiggy Nut will return to the treehouse. Like, I think that's a good thing to do too. If people really enjoyed it, put it behind some kind of paywall that makes people want to, see that person or see that character, see you be crazy again.
Yeah, use it as a good incentive for people, basically. Yeah.
Incentive was the word that lost me there.
I totally agree with that. Regisel had another question who said, I know you said earlier about Squirrel 2.0 and plans with that. Have you had any times where you've thought of changing your character entirely because of big ideas or plans you've had? That's a great question.
It is a good question. And there have been days where I was like, I'm a 33-year-old man dressing up as a squirrel. Do I just give it up? Like, can I still be successful without it? And I think my current base will stay, but I don't think growth will be as good. But I mean, I think I would, for me personally, I would come up with another idea, but I do have another idea. I had this idea. Have you guys played Watch Dogs 2? And kind of like the aesthetics with Watch Dogs 2 and the hackers and like the hacker group. That's been on my mind a little bit, where I wouldn't have to be a character, but I'd be like a hacker, and I would start a Twitch stream, and like the team would have the same kind of overlay, the same kind of alerts, but with their own like taste and flavor to them. I thought that would be pretty interesting, but I don't know. No,
just haven't found the right time.
Yeah, it's like it's tough because like, hey, I've spent 4 years as a squirrel. Do I stop and try 4 years as something else to see if it works? Or do I keep going with the squirrel? I think there's unlimited possibilities, but yeah, you never know, right? Like, I'd have to do this life over again to see if I could try a different character and see if it would work.
For sure. I kind of have a follow-up question to that, my own. Basically, do you really like the process of just creating a character and bringing that character to life and all that, or are you really attached to like the squirrel specifically? Like, would it matter to you what the character was as much as just being?
No, I don't think it would. No, I think the squirrel is kind of important to me because of my name. Like, I used to be called Merle the Squirrel all the time, but no, I think I could be any kind of character. I think I would be open to trying a different character.
Sure. Yeah, I was just curious.
Okay. Yeah, and I've thought about it too, because like I'd have to name change, and like when I did this name, I was like, I gotta make sure I get it on Twitter. Like I went through some squirrel names, because this was my Xbox name, and I was like, I don't know, can we change it? I don't want to be ElDirtySquirrel. Who's gonna listen to that? Yeah.
Some people apparently.
Yeah, some people are into it.
Yeah. All right, just a couple more. I see some more from Regisel. Lots of questions today, so appreciate that. She says, would you say that your character persona is easier to portray if it has a similar personality to your real personality? That's interesting. So kind of, do you think your character is similar to how you are all the time anyway?
Yes and no. Again, it comes back to that little authenticity where I am a little more boisterous and a little louder and, screamier when playing the games. But I'm sorry, I gotta read the question again.
Oh, you're fine. Basically, is it easier to portray a character that is kind of more similar to you naturally versus something?
So that's where I was going with that. Yeah, I'm sorry. So like, there's no way I could do this without my personality bleeding into the character. There's no way I could be like, what if I were an angry squirrel and I just had to be angry all the time? That would be too tough. Like it's just me. I'm just a positive squirrel. So yeah, I think a lot of it bleeds through. I think like what you see here is pretty much what you'll get when we hang. Like if you want to hang out with me, it's pretty much what you're gonna get. A little more low key out in a setting, but yeah, I think because I don't have a bunch of eyes on me. I guess it's kind of weird. I think that's like a social. Like there's some psychology behind that, is when you have eyes on you and you have to perform. Like it's a little bit different. But
yeah, I feel like most character streamers tend to be like an exaggerated version of part of themselves. Like it's probably not all of them, but
easily.
You look at like I keep coming back to Dr. Disrespect, but
yeah,
that guy's probably like has some aspect of him that is like that slick daddy aspect, and he just like turns it up to 10. And then like you mentioned, there are some people that like part of their character basically is just being really mad all the time. And maybe that's part of them they just always put on stream. So I think it's like she says here, it's important to have something that's close to what you are naturally.
I think you're right. Like the volume's at 5, and then when I stream, it's turned up.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. And like Igloo, I got to hang out. Igloo Arsonist, he's in the chat. He's just a viewer and a friend of mine, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in Boston. You want to hang out?" I was like, "Yeah." That was crazy, but like he just said, pretty laid back. But it was cool to like hang out with those people and just be myself and be kind of laid back. Yeah, I'm a pretty laid back person, so.
Yeah, that's really cool. All right, so we're kind of wrapping up here. So if you guys have any more questions for Squirrel or myself, now's the time to ask them. In the meantime, Squirrel, I want to ask you just basically anything you want to say to people about character streaming that we haven't covered yet, or just streaming in general. Any tips or advice?
Yeah, just do more of what makes you happy. Make sure you're happy doing whatever it is. Yeah, and feel free if you ever need help, or don't be afraid to reach out about character building stuff or streaming in general. Don't write to me about your mom's cat dying. Like, I don't want to hear about that. But if you have any questions, or ever want to set up meetings or want to play games together, like, I'm pretty busy, but you never know. And don't be scared to reach out to other people. The same kind of things, because I think collaboration's huge. Even if I were I could play games with somebody, and even if one person comes over and is like, "Hey, Squirrel, that guy's pretty interesting," and they were playing with my favorite streamer. Now Squirrel's my favorite streamer. You never know. Like, people will pop over.
Yeah. Do you have like sort of a mentor of your own for streaming?
Not somebody like I'm thinking about that. Like, I do have my teams and stuff that I like to bounce ideas around. I talk to my dog a lot, but he doesn't give too much feedback. But as far as support, though. Yeah, as far as people that really admire, like Future Man Gaming is probably my number one. Like, he really got me thinking about characters as well. So he was doing something new when I, kind of found him, and him, Benny Fitz, Scribble, all huge inspirations. But I think it's the furthest back is definitely Future Man.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, yeah, I think it's important to have some sort of mentor, or even just someone to look up to and stay inspired by on Twitch. That's great to have.
Yeah, for sure. Because the Twitch is evolving every day. Like, all right, there's millions of people streaming millions of hours. Like, you can't capture it all. So,
right.
Like, you can't intake it all, but you still want to see what everybody else is doing. And every day somebody's doing something new. So.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that is pretty much the show, guys.
Awesome.
So thank you so much for coming on, Squirrel.
Yeah.
Where can people find you if they want to check you out after this?
Yeah, I'm on Twitch, twitch.tv, ElDirtySquirrel. Hit me up on Twitter or Instagram, ElDirtySquirrel. Make sure if you do stop by Twitch, join our Discord. If you ever have any questions, you can tag me in there or set up a message. You can message me on Twitter, even though it's kind of hard to get a hold of me there. It just seems like if I get messages from people I'm not following, it feels like I don't get it for like 2 or 3 days. I don't know why. But don't be afraid to reach out to me. Honestly, and I'm not like the biggest character streamer, but I've been around the block for a few years, so if you need any help, awesome. If I can, a few shout outs, there's people in the chat. I was
absolutely.
Like, come by, we're doing a character stream. Mr. Kazler is a character streamer. Check him out. Melly Bear. TY is not a character streamer, but you should check him out too. I'm trying to see who else was it. If you're a character streamer, can I get some hands up in the chat? Just
raise the hands.
Yeah, let's see if you are a character streamer or thinking about being a character streamer, so that anybody here can go check you guys out. And there you go, Regisel. Yeah.
Another bear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody there.
Lit I don't know if Lit is one, but all right.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We call him a character.
So follow all the other character streamers. Make friends. Join the groups. Yeah, and don't think Twitch is some, like, you're not combating with all these other streamers too. Like,
yes,
we're pretty much co-workers. So that's why I say if you want to work together, just hit me up.
Awesome. Thank you so much again for coming on the show. And thank you everyone who came out and watched the show. Really appreciate it. And everyone from Squirrel's stream, good to see you guys. Hope you will stick around, and we'll be sure to hit up Squirrel too. This again has been the Stream Key Podcast. We'll be back on tomorrow at 11 for a call-in show. So stay tuned for that, and we will see you guys tomorrow. With that said,
stay nutty.
See you later.